Hello everyone. Today we're looking at comparing verb tenses with aspect, and on this video we will have two different verbs with different tenses. But first we'll look at the how verbs are changed depending on the base form, past tense, present tense, and then having the has and had with the verb. For instance, walk, talk, or call. In the past tense, we have walked, talked, or called. In the present tense, we will use am, is, are, been, walking, talking, calling. And then if we had has or had, we would have walked, talked, called. But those are regular verbs. We have a lot of irregular verbs with different past tense and using the has and had. For instance, give, eat, we would use it in the past tense as gave, ate. Sing is sang, forget is forgot, and know is knew. We will still use the ing for the present tense, but for instance, give is the e at the end is changed to ing. Eat will add ing. Sing will add ing. Forget will double the t and add ing. For the has and had, forgive is given, eat is eaten, sing is sung, forget is forgotten, and know is has had known. We don't use present tense for some state of verbs such as know. We would not usually say, I am knowing, or he is knowing, they are knowing, or I have been knowing. Forget is also somehow or some way of state of verb, but it's acceptable to say, I am forgetting, he is forgetting, they have been forgetting. Now we're going to take two of those verbs and use them in sentences. We will use I know. I know that he called you. Past tense. He calls you. Present tense. He is calling you. A continuing present tense. Was calling you. An action that was continuing in the past and was completed. Was calling you. Has called you. So something like that, there should be something about a time, like I know he has called you since yesterday. Number 6, I know that he had called you. Something is missing there about another action that happened after that action. So on number 6, I know that he had called you before he called me. Number 7, I know that he has been calling you. So I can add since yesterday. This is a continuing. Number 8, he had been calling you. So this is something missing here. Before he called me, I know that he had been calling you multiple times yesterday. This is where it starts to get complicated because in addition to called, calls, was calling, we have I know. So the I know can also be I knew. And then on number 10, we can also replace I know with I have known. So that one I can say since last week. I have known since last week that he has called you. Number 11, we can also replace I know with I know. And then where he has called you, it can be he had called you. I have known since yesterday that he had called you before he called me. Number 12, I had known before he called me that he was calling you a couple times yesterday. Number 13, we can also say I had known before he saw me that he has been calling you since last week. The reason I'm saying all this because there's a translation into Cebuano, Bisaya, where there's similar words with all these different ways that this has been saying in English. Let's look at sentence 1, 2, and 3. I know can be either kahibalo ko or kabalo ko. Kahibalo ko, with we're using the he, is going to denote some thing, an object. Kahibalo ko means I know something. Kahibalo ko, I know something. And then kabalo ko is just the translation for I know. So let's look at number 1. Kahibalo ko nga I know that nitawag ka niya. He called you. Number 2. Kabalo ko nga I know nga that gitawag ka niya. He called you. But I was trying to say I know that he calls you. Kabalo ko nga gitawag ka niya. I know that he calls you. Number 3, kabalo ko nga I know that nanawag siya nimo. He calls you. I know that he calls you. Nasayod ko. So this is I know something. This is, I think it also means no, but we're focusing here on the subject. I know that siya nagtawag kanimo. Kanimo is you, is being the one that's going to be receiving something. Siya nagtawag. He was calling you. That's a translation for number 4. I know that he was calling you. Nasayod ko nga siya nagtawag kanimo. Number 5, I'm translating I know that he has called you. I didn't refer to it since something. But I'm trying to say I know that he has called you. Nasayod ako, I know, nga gitawag ka niya. That he has called you. Number 6, I know that he had called you. Same thing. Nasayod ko nga gitawag ka niya. Number 7 and number 8, again we're saying kabalo ko, I know. Number 8, I know something, kahibalo ko. Number 7, I know that he has been calling you. And number 8, I know that he had been calling you. Kabalo ko or kahibalo ko nga nanawag siya. He has been calling or he had been calling you, nimo. If you look at number 10, 11, and 12, it's the same thing. Ako nahibalo nga siya nagtawag kanimo. But on the English, I'm trying to say different things. So we need to get some more questions and answers to know exactly what is to convey here. Number 10, I'm trying to say, I have known that he has called you. Number 11, I have known that he had called you. Number 12, I had known that he was calling you. All of them are, ako nahibalo nga siya nagtawag kanimo. Number 13, I had known that he's been calling you. Kahibalo ko, I had known something. Kahibalo ko nga he's been calling you. Nanawag siya nimo. Here's a few more questions to compare. Do you know that he calls her? Did you know that he calls her? Did you know that he called her? Compare these three questions. Nahibalaan pa nimo. We're using nahibalaan nimo means you are knowing or you known something. Focus on the something. Nahibal and then we use ba. And do you and did you are both the same. Nahibalan ba nimo? Do you know, did you know nga gitawag niya siya? That he calls her? Gitawag niya siya? Nahibalan ba nimo nga siya nagtawag kaniya? Did you know that she was the one being called by him? Siya nagtawag kaniya? Nahibalaan ba nimo nga gitawag niya siya? The third one is the same as the first. But the question was, did you know that he called her? The first one was, do you know that he calls her? Both of them had the same translation. Nahibalaan ba nimo nga gitawag niya siya? Look at these two. Wala ko kabalo nga nanawag siya nimo. What do you think that means? There's two ways that can be translated. Wala ko kabalo. It means I didn't know. Or it can also mean, yes, I didn't know nga nanawag siya nimo. Either it can mean he called you or he calls you. He called you means it happened already, and he calls you means it's continuing to happen. I didn't know that he called you already. I didn't know that he's still calling you. Both can mean wala ko kabalo nga nanawag siya nimo. Thank you.